Welcome back to Talking Sports with Brandon. This is Dallas Cowboys Week 8 video. Now, this will be the only video for about a week or two because the Cowboys are on a bye after this game, so we won't be playing until Week 10. So it'll be a video for a little bit, of time, but it's a good video. It's definitely going to be a good video. So, Cowboys win 49-29 against the Chicago Bears at home. And this one, I mean, there's a couple things, that weren't great, I guess. But, for the most part, at least 90% of this game, it was really good. It was a lot of fun to watch, So far this season, we've been one of the worst offensive teams. Now, it makes sense. Dak wasn't playing. And that first game for sure didn't help. But, Dak wasn't playing. We weren't relying on our offense to win games when Cooper Rush was starting. So, yeah, it made sense that our offense wasn't doing great. But, this game proves that at our best and when both sides are clicking, like this team is one of the best teams in the NFL. It really is. I mean, in the NFC for sure, if you want to say the Bills, even the Chiefs, just because of the experience and Mahomes and stuff like that, I can give you that. But in terms of the NFL, I think this is a top 5 team when they're playing at their best. And even when they're not, I think they still are a top 5 team. I think that's the way that they play. So, we'll dive into it and we'll talk about it, but it was just encouraging to see the stuff that I was watching on Sunday. It really was. And I know it's the Bears, they're not a great team, but that you get plays on your schedule, you do what you have to do, and going into a bye week where we definitely needed it, a lot of guys need rest. We have a couple injuries, and even guys who aren't fully injured, they need that rest to recover and just get ready for the second half of the season. And I think this is a great bye week to have. I think week 9 is perfect. It's right in the middle of the season. Some people don't like bye weeks when you're kind of have a roll going on. I guess I kind of agree with that, but at the same time, like I'd rather get a bye week in the middle of the season than like the first time you can get a bye week or like week. I think people have in like week 13. Like that's a lot of football to be played without a bye week. So I think it's a really good spot. And also November for us is always tough because one, for this November, we're on the road for the first 2 games, and then we play the Thanksgiving game at home. But, of course, the Thanksgiving game is, it's Thursday, so you're playing a Sunday and then a Thursday. So you're always, and then you play the next Sunday. So you're always playing a lot of games very close together during that time. So to have a bye week, even though it's a couple weeks before that, to have a bye week before that, it at least helps you get ready for that. And your guys are a little bit more fresh. So I think it's a good thing as well. But this game, just starting off, we'll start off on the first drive. This is exactly how we should start drives off. Exactly. At least getting points, but it's really this. I feel like we don't go down and score touchdowns on our first drive. And this was the complete opposite. So I guess I'll preface it by saying Zeke didn't play this game, so it was Tony Pollard all the way. He was the starter, no doubt. People push for that. People want that all the time. Look, Pollard can be great in a single game, and he was great in this game. I think he had 131 on the ground, and he had 3 touchdowns. But he's not a lead, workhorse back. That's not what he is. He's a guy who again, even in this game, he only had 14 carries, and they were winning the entire game. And there was no Zeke, so. He's just not the guy who's going to ever get 20 carries in a game, and I think that's perfect. I think he should only get 14 to 15 carries in a game. I think Zeke should get 12 to 15. I think they should both split carries. Zeke, goal line, third downs, in between tackles, tough running. That's what Zeke is. He's going to fall and get extra yards. Pollard's the big explosive guy, as we saw on the one big run in this game. Hand it to him on the outside, give tosses to him, let him explode, let him find lanes, and let him outrun everybody. Now, he can run in between tackles if you need him to. It's not as good as Zeke because, Zeke's going to hammer a guy, he's going to truck a guy, he's going to fall for extra yards, he's always going to get you closer to the first down marker, but Pollard can at least show that he could do that, and if we ever need him to, he could always do it. But, for the people who's always saying, everyone, for a long time, people have just been saying, let Pollard just be the RB1. And after this game, it was even louder. I don't agree with that. I think they're both RB1s. They both split carries. They both do good things for 2 different play styles. And that's perfect. Having one guy be the bulldozer and one guy, be like on a jet, that's what you want. So, I think it's a really good compliment, and it's a good problem to have. If your fans and people in the media are saying that one guy should be the starter over the other, I think that's a good thing to have because they're both really good. So, But starting this game off, you know, it was just a perfect drive to start. I mean, just moving down the field, converting on third down, 3rd and 2 convert, 3rd and 6 convert, 3rd and 2, which was the touchdown play. It was which we haven't really seen for a while, and I know Dak has been playing, but even when he was playing, we haven't really seen this in a while. But Dak was running the ball, design runs. His touchdown, the first touchdown of the game, was a 7-yard design run. It was a guy in motion coming left to right. Fake handoff, tight end coming from right side of the right on the right side of the offensive line, pulling to the left as a lead blocker for Dak, and followed the block. It was a great play design. They had no clue what was going on, and just walked in for an easy touchdown. He actually had 5 carries for 34 yards. I think he had 1 or 2 kneel downs, so I guess that kind of takes away from that. But so basically like 3 carries for like 37 yards or something, but it's the same thing anyways. It was good to see him run. He actually had one play where it was a QB sneak. I think it was 3rd and 1, and it was a QB sneak, and he just kept going. I mean, they didn't even tackle him. They didn't even touch him. He just, instead of kind of just getting in and falling down, he just kept going. He was just on his blocker's back, and then found a lane and ran. I think it was a 25-yard run. I think it was so, or 20-yard run, whatever it was. It was a big run. So it's good to see him run. I think he scrambled at one time too. You know, that's what we need. And they talked about it. You know, they said they wanted him to run a little bit more after the game. They said, you know, how did it feel running? You know, is that going to be a bigger part of the offense going forward? And he said, yeah, I'll do anything for the team. You know, if they need me to run, I'll run. And I think that's good because he is athletic and he can move. And we saw it. What was it, 2019, I think it was. And remember that Washington game? He had that big run and he stiff-armed Josh Norman. And, you know, like, he can do that. If you do read option and kind of let him decide, and if you want to do some running plays, like, he can do that. Now, not all the time. He's not that fast. He's not Lamar, Jalen Hurts, Kyler Murray. But, you know, a couple times, if he can show his legs and just keep a defense honest, that's huge that's exactly what you want. You want every part of your offense to be unpredictable, and that's unpredictable because you're not going to expect it from him. So that was just really good to see, and it was a perfect way to cap off that drive. 4 minutes, 42 seconds, 11 plays, 75 yards, and a touchdown. Bears get the ball. They go 3 and out. Don't even really come close, to be honest. And that's the way it looked early in this game. Then, what do you know? We get the ball back, and we score another touchdown. That's what you want. Against inferior, bad teams who are worse than you, you got to put them away. And we did let him back a little bit later in this game, but for the most part, we put him away. And that's exactly what you want. So, 11 yards, 8 yards, 4 yards, 7 yards, 17 yards to Michael Gallup. I think that was on a free play. CeeDee Lamb was even lined up in the backfield a couple times. I think we had one rush with him for 1 yard, but he lined up a couple times back there. I think that's not a bad thing. He doesn't have to run the ball. He doesn't have to get the ball. But if he can run a route from the backfield, that's a guaranteed linebacker who's on him. And obviously, CeeDee Lamb's he's going to run a better route than a linebacker can cover. So I actually like that, to be honest. But we'll see if they continue doing that in the future. They only did it a couple times, like 2 or 3. So we'll see. But what do you know? 39 again. I think we were 9 of 11 on third down. I'll make sure just to get it right, but I believe we were 9 of 13 or 9 of 11. Yes, 9 of 11. I think we were 30th in the NFL in third down conversion rate so far this season. So 9 of 11 against a defense that they still had Roquan Smith in this game actually, or no, they didn't. Or did they? No, they didn't have him. But he got traded to the Ravens. It was before this game, but. Yeah, they're still a decent defense. They still have guys who can make plays on that team, and they're coached well defensively. They're probably like middle of the pack, but still, it's not like you're playing the worst defense in the league. So it was good to see 9 of 11 on third down. But 3rd and 9 at their 21-yard line, and Dak to CD for 21-yard touchdown. Like that's what you want to see. You want to see that. And CD had another good game. He hasn't been like insane so far this season, but he went 5 for 77 and a touchdown. For the season, he's 556 yards. That's top 10 in the NFL. Only 3 touchdowns, 2 the last 2 weeks though. And then he has 42 catches, which is tied for 12th in the league. So it's not having a terrible year, really. It started off a little slow, a little bit, the drops and everything like that. but it hasn't been that bad. To be honest, he didn't have a touchdown in the Lions game. It was the what game was that? No, it was the Lions game. No, it wasn't the Lions game. Whatever. He has 3 touchdowns on the year. So 14-0 right there. Now Bears get the ball back, and they actually put a really good drive together. 12 plays, 6.5 minutes off the clock. The one bad thing about this game was the run defense. And the Bears, they came into the game with 2 games of 200 plus yards running, and they made that 3. They ran for 240. Herbert went for 99, Fields for 60, Montgomery for 53, Velus Jones had 33. So they were killing us on the ground, and that's what was keeping them in the game, was that they can't throw the ball. I mean, Fields wasn't, I guess, terrible. He was 151 and 2 touchdowns, but they can't throw the ball. It's not like their offense isn't designed to just snap the ball, take a 5-step drop, and find guys down the field. That's not what they do. As soon as the first or second read's not there for Fields, and they don't have a great offensive line, so he had to scramble a lot, as soon as the first or second read isn't there, he's just running. So, that's why they get a lot of yards on the ground. And, their offensive linemen are better at run block than pass block. So that's really why. But they put together a really good drive, 18-yard run, 4 yards here, 15-yard run, 6 yards. Again, the 15-yard one was a scramble. So 6 yards, 14-yard scramble. Again, that's 29 yards on 2 scrambles. So it's tough because it's hard to cover a quarterback like that when he's scrambling. But then 4 yards, 4 yards again, 4 yards again. It's just they're just getting yards, churning in yards, and then they get a Justin Fields 3-yard touchdown run. So it's tough to cover an offense that isn't good, but when they could scramble and your quarterback's that much of an athlete, it's hard to cover them. So it proved tough. You're really not going to face guys like that, in the future. I mean, definitely these next 2 games, you play the Packers and you play the Vikings. They're not going to run like that. So you don't have to worry about it for those games. But, the Giants have Daniel Jones, Eagles, Jalen Hurts, so you face it a little bit, but at least for the immediate future, you're not going to see it. That made it 14-7. But then again, I love this response. It's a 6-play, 75-yard, under 3-minute touchdown drive. Like that's what we want. We want touchdowns. Our kicker Brett Maher didn't even attempt a field goal in this game. Didn't even attempt one. It was only touchdowns. He scored 49 points. That's 7 touchdowns. So that's perfect. That's perfect football right there. And started with a 6-yard run from Pollard, 17 yards to Gallup. 2 for Pollard, 7 to Lamb. 25 yards for Dak. That was that. It was 3rd and 1. That was that QB sneak. And then Pollard with an 18-yard touchdown. And it was a great touchdown. Shifty, jump cutting, juking guys, running in between tackles on that one, but it just made cuts. That's what's good about Pollard, is that he can make cuts faster than Zeke can. He may not, there's some stuff he's obviously not as good as Zeke, but in terms of a guy in front of him, how can he make a miss without going through him? It's by making cuts and being shifty, and that's the good thing. That's the big upside about Pollard, is that he could do that. And on his touchdown runs, we saw that, and it was definitely on this one. He made, I think, Eddie Jackson miss, and he made another guy miss. So 21-7, Bears get the ball, they punt to go 3 and out. And then we get another touchdown, make it 28-7. 8 plays, 54 yards, 2.5 minutes. 3rd and 8, it's a 15-yard pass to CeeDee Lamb, another 3rd down conversion. 20 on 2nd and 10, 22 yards to Lamb. Then 4 yards, another Dak run, and then this we had Malik Davis was our backup running back in this one, kind of like practice squad player, whatever. He actually wasn't bad, to be honest, in the snaps that he got, but it looked like he had an 11-yard touchdown reception from Dak, but he was just short of the goal line. And then Dak threw a touchdown to Jake Ferguson for 1 yard to make it 28-7. I mean, could not play a better first half up until that point. Now after that, Bears get the ball, they go down and get their touchdown. So 12 plays, 75 yards, 6 minutes off the clock. So their 2 touchdown drives were both 12 plays and both 6 minutes off the clock. And that's what they want. They want long drives that kill the clock. They control the clock. They're getting more plays. They're weighing your defense down by running the ball. So again, 1-yard run, 6-yard run. This was a 3rd and 3. We were offsides. It would have been a stop, but we were offsides. Penalties weren't that big for us in this game, so you can't really worry about it, but that one wasn't great. then 4-yard run, 1-yard run, and then it's 3rd and 5. They go 3 yards, 4th and 2. They go for it. It's hard to stop a team like that in 4th and 2. They have different ways to get a first down with quarterback, running back, design plays. It's tough. They had 3 yards, or two. They had 2 yards actually. Then they actually They had a couple deep shots, which I got to give credit to Deron Bland. He full-time starter now, at least for the immediate future, probably for the rest of the season though, for stepping in for Jordan Lewis. He broke up a big play towards the end. Like, they actually had a couple plays down the field where if the receiver made a play or if our defender didn't make a play, it's a touchdown. And it would have been like a 30, 40-yard reception, even 50 yards, I think. So, definitely credit to the secondary for making those plays. And Deron Bland definitely played a good game. But after that, it was a 6-yard run, a 9-yard run. Again, that was a scramble. 2-minute warning now, so 7-yard pass, 4-yard run. Then they get Fields throws an interception to Diggs, but it gets called back as a roughing the passer. Now, they didn't really show a lot of replays of it. They showed it like once, and it kind of looked like a roughing the passer, but at the same time, it didn't. Like, he didn't really hit his head, but he also kind of hit like his neck area, at least upper torso. So it's tough. You see a quarterback kind of get like hit like that. It wasn't late. It wasn't anything like that, but you just see a quarterback get hit like that. It's just hard not to throw a flag. So that was kind of 50-50. It sucked because it was an interception, and then on the next play, they get a 17-yard touchdown. But it was definitely a tough call, I have to say. But again, they get a touchdown there. So it's 28-14. It's 40 seconds left on the clock, and I was in favor of going for it. I think we had 2 timeouts at this time. I think, or 1 or 2 timeouts. And there's 40 seconds left. And the way our offense was moving, I was like, yeah, we're at least getting 3 points. And we went aggro, and it didn't work out. First play, CeeDee Lamb up the middle for like 25 yards, and Eddie Jackson just jumps the route and picks it off. So, and he actually returned it for like 20 yards. So they get, with 30 seconds left, they get down to our 18-yard line. They get a field goal. So right at the end of the half, it goes from 28-7 to 28-17. That wasn't the way that first half played, and the way that we looked. You would not expect it to be 28-17. And the fact that it was again, they're not a good enough team to like really make me worried, but it was at least concerning the fact that it was almost a one-score game, and we absolutely dominated the first half. Now they get the ball back to start the second half. They punt it, we punt it. And after that punt, I was like, okay. I mean, it's getting a little bit worried, because the next drive they get a touchdown, and they said they fumbled and we recovered it, and then they overturned it and said he didn't fumble. It really didn't look clear enough to me that he didn't fumble, because he had the ball. It's not like it ever got punched out or anything, but he didn't really ever have full control of it the entire time he had the ball. And it was a clear recovery by us. So that was a little weird too. I don't really know how they ended up getting that ruling for them, but they did. So they kept the ball there. And then Mooney goes for 36 yards on a deep pass. That was like their biggest play of the game. Then 6 yards, 7 yards, and then they get a 12-yard touchdown run. So they make it 28-23. They go for 2. They don't get it, but it's still a one-score game, 5 points. But this is where we put him away. So we get the ball back, go 7 plays, 75 yards, just under 3 minutes off the clock. And this was the drive. It was just like, all right, let's just get back to what we were doing. Let's just get this game over with. So 3rd and 9 again. We go 30 yards to Dalton Schultz. Again, big. It was a free play, but still big play, 30 yards. Schultz for 14 yards. Devontae Turpin had an 11-yard run. That's one of those end-around plays. 7 yards to Lamb, and then Pollard had a 7-yard touchdown run. So that was the second touchdown of the game, and that was just to put us back. Now it's 35-23, a little more breathing room. We're in the middle of the third quarter, but then this is where the play of the game happens. So Dante Fowler sacks Justin Fields, so it's 2nd and 21. They get 10 yards on a run, and then they actually get backed up because of a false start. So it's 3rd and 16 at their 19-yard line. And Fields gets hurried out of the pocket, moves to his left, throws to Montgomery, breaks a tackle. And actually, again, it's 3rd and 16. He actually gets like 14 yards, I would say, even like 50. He was like right at the first down marker. and Van Der Esch just like dives at him, and when he's diving, I don't even think he was trying to punch the ball out, but it's just the way that he went to go tackle him. He hit the ball out of his hands, rolls on the field, close to the sideline. Micah, who rushed Fields on this play, that's the reason that Fields had to get out of the pocket, because Micah flushed him out of the pocket, runs all the way from where he was. So that was probably, from where the play happened, that was at least like 15 to 20 yards down the field. Runs all the way to the ball, jumps on it. Fields, and this is where the crazy part happens, Fields, so Micah is on the ground with the ball. Fields is right there. All he has to do is just touch him, and Micah's down. It's still our ball. It's still, a fumble recovery. We're at the 36-yard line of Chicago, but all he has to do is just touch him, and he's down. And for some reason, Justin Fields jumps over him, doesn't touch him, just jumps right over him. I don't know if he thought that. I don't know what he thought. If it was like a dead ball, or if he just thought Micah was somehow down. I don't know what he thought, but. Doesn't touch him, jumps over him. Micah stands up and just runs for a touchdown. I mean, he had to break, he had to juke a guy, he was stumbling and fumbling and everything, but he did get in the end zone. He leaped in the end zone, and it was an amazing play. It really was. So he didn't even get a sack in this game. Didn't do a lot. I mean, he held all game again, but doesn't get called. But the pressures that he had, I guess I could look at exactly what his stats were, but. Even when he's not getting sacks or doing insane plays like that against the quarterback, he's still making insane plays, which is first touchdown of his career. Definitely won't be his last, but he had 4 tackles, 2 solos, and actually didn't have a QB hit. So I don't know what his pressures or hurries were. It was definitely a lot, or at least a good amount. I don't see that on the ESPN stats, but definitely. Definitely had an impact on the game besides the touchdown, obviously. But that was the biggest impact. That made it 42-23. Now this game's over. It's still halfway through the third quarter, and the Bears, give them credit, they actually responded right back with a touchdown. And what do you know? 13-play drive, 75 yards, 6 minutes off the clock. I mean, that's every single one of their touchdowns, the exact same. And again, this is running the ball. 15 yards, 3 yards, 17 yards. That was a pass. 8 yards. Then 10 yards, 9 yards, so 13 yards. They just get yards on the ground. They just do. Then 6 yards, or 12 yards and 6 yards. And then they had a 10-yard touchdown pass to make it, 42-29. So it's still close, no doubt, but it's fourth quarter now. But then this is where, now it's where the game's officially over. Because we do get a touchdown, 5 plays, 79 yards, 3 minutes off the clock. So 2 yards for Pollard, 14 yards for Pollard, 2 yards for Pollard, Malik Davis for 7 yards, and then 3rd and 1 at our 46-yard line, and Pollard breaks for a 54-yard touchdown. So great play. I mean, bounces it outside. Actually, it beat on the inside. That's why he had to bounce it outside. Makes a guy miss, or kind of breaks a tackle, to be honest, and then kind of breaks another one and kind of jumps through the little hole between the wide receiver on the left side blocking and the rest of where the guys were. And then just outruns everybody. There's a tight end, I think it was Hendershot. He was blocking downfield, but just outruns everybody. Just does. And 54-yard touchdown. Gave him 3 touchdowns on the day. That's what gave him 131. I don't think he played the rest of the game. And that made it 49-29. Rest of the game, they turn it over on downs. We punt. They punt, and then the game's over. So official stats for the game. Dak 21-27, 250, 2 touchdowns, and the 1 pick. Did get sacked 1 time, but played a really good game. Also had the rushing touchdown as well. Played a really, easily his best game in a while, even dating back to last year. I know he had the big game against Washington and Philadelphia, but this was one of his best games he's played in a long time. Pollard 14 carries, 131, 3 touchdowns. I mean, an insane game, no doubt, obviously. And we ran for 200 yards as well. It wasn't just him, Davis had 23, Turpin with 11, Prescott with 34. So ran for exactly 200 yards, 4 touchdowns on the ground. And that's what I love. 4 touchdowns on the ground, 200 yards on the ground. That's what wins games, especially as the season goes on. Guys get more tired. Guys are dead. In the playoffs, that wins games. Running the ball will win games. And I love that we're doing a great job at running the ball right now. Through the air, Lamb, like I said, at 77. Schultz, 74. Gallup, 49. So a good spread between the guys. Lamb was the only one with the touchdown. Ferguson had the one 1 catch, 1 yard, 1 touchdown, but good spread throughout the guys. And defensively, the guys who got sacks was Fowler with the sack, Lawrence got a sack, Odigizua got a sack, and Jaron Curse got a sack as well. So 4 sacks on the day. And it just turned in a really good effort. That was a great game to watch. And it was good to see the offense play like that. It really was. Everything was working. Third downs, running the ball, passing the ball, and getting in the end zone. So you can't say a lot of bad things. I think the only thing, like I said, it was the run defense, which has been a problem for us. And it was definitely going to be tough in this game against a team that basically only runs the ball and just came into it 2 straight 200-yard games. But I'm hoping against the Packers, they have Jones and Dillon. Vikings have Cook. Giants have Barkley. Like, we're going to face a lot of good running backs coming up. Colts have Jonathan Taylor. Now, he hasn't been that good this year, and he's a little bit injured, but that's also in a month, so we'll see what happens then. Texans, Dameon Pierce. He's been a really good rookie for them. Jaguars, ETN. Eagles, obviously, we know what they do. Titans, Derrick Henry. So, we're going to face a lot of good running backs coming up. So, our defense, that run defense really has to, close down those gaps and just limit the run. Guys can still run for 80 to 100 yards or whatever, but it just can't be these chunk plays. These, they're killing you on the ground. They're just extending drives. They're keeping your offense off the field. We need, because our defense loves to just attack the quarterback. So if they're going to be running the ball the entire time, that's not the strength of our defense. We need them dropping back, throwing. We need our guys to get to them on the defensive line. So, we'll hopefully that changes coming up in the future. Because we're going to need it, maybe not right now, but we're going to need it later in the season and for the playoffs. But can't say anything else about this game. Really good game. Like I said to start this episode, they don't play this week, and then they play the Packers in following the bye week. So, I don't think I'll make an episode before that. I think I'll just make an episode after that game. But Packers have been really struggling. They've lost 4 games in a row. The only thing they could really do is run the ball, so that's why I was talking about it. So it's going to be in Green Bay. That it should be a win. I mean, it really should be with the way that the Packers are playing, but you never know with Aaron Rodgers. You already know that game they're going to somehow, flip the switch on us, but hopefully not. And we're 6-2 in the bye. Really all you could ask for. If the Eagles win the division by going 14-3 or something, I can't complain. I really can't. I mean, if they go 14-3 and we go 12-5 or 13-4, what am I really gonna say? If we lose to Philadelphia late in the season, which is I think Christmas or Christmas Eve, and that was the game to see who would win the division, then you could be upset. But if at that point they're already 2 or 3 games up, it's kind of tough. But we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. It's later in the season. You don't got to worry about it right now. But yes. 6-2 going to the bye week. Couldn't be happier with that. So I'll see you after the Packers game. Again, that'll be in a couple of weeks. Definitely check out other videos on this channel as well. The video before this will be the NFL Week 8 recap video and the trade deadline video as well. So definitely check that one out. And then, just keep looking out for videos. You won't see Cowboys videos for the immediate future, but you will just see the NFL videos. So definitely look forward to those. And thank you for watching.